Hey everyone, Survival Garden Seeds sent me their home garden seed collection. That is so cool. Let's open it up and talk about it. Vegan prepper. Vegan prepper. Survival Garden Seeds actually contacted me and asked me if they could send me a pack of seeds and feature it on the channel. Now, this is only the second company I've ever said yes to who has sent me requests like this. As small as my channel is, I've already gotten dozens of requests from random companies asking to send me things to feature on the channel. And I've only said yes to one other company, and now this one. This one is kind of funny because I've actually heard of Survival Garden Seeds before. I've been on their website, I've poked around and looked, and thought about buying one of their seed packs, and then ultimately just didn't do it yet. And so I'm actually really excited to have this now and show you guys and talk about it. The company began kind of in response to some of the food scarcity that came about in recent years, and sort of with a mission to empower people to increase their own self-reliance by planting their own and growing their own food. And so that's a lot of what this company is about. The other thing that I think was really cool about them is that they are kind of preparedness minded. They are survival minded, obviously survival garden seeds, right? And every single one of their seeds is non-GMO, they're heirloom and open pollinated. That's all really great stuff. If you don't really know anything about seeds, that's all really good stuff to look for. But yeah, I said I would open it on camera and talk about it, and so that's what I'm doing kind of in exchange for receiving this. But yes, I'm just like genuinely excited. I do genuinely like this company, and I figured we'd just talk about it. They did give me a discount code, which is in the description box for anybody who's interested to get a discount on one of 3 packs. Sorry, I have to look at my thing over here. The Home Garden Seed Pack Collection, which is what I have, it's 30 varieties. The Homesteader Collection, which is 50 varieties, and the Farmer Collection, which is 100 varieties. And so you can get a discount on one of those 3 collections down below, but they sell so much more than that. So definitely check out the description for those links and go check it out. I'm also, there's something that you can enter when you go shopping for the coupon code as well if you're not going to follow the link. And I'm putting the code up on the screen right now. But yeah, thank you for like all that, like the business stuff is out of the way. So let's get into the nitty gritty and the fun stuff, which is opening up the seeds. Okay, let's do it. I'm genuinely opening this for you for the first time. I haven't opened it yet. It's still totally sealed. So now as soon as I make this cut, no matter what happens, we got to keep filming because we're not doing takes here. So I'm cutting it open right now as we speak. I'm so excited. I love this. You know what? I think I've shared before on the channel, my love language is gifts. So this feels almost like a present, because I guess it kind of was, because I didn't have to pay for it. But I love it. I feel like a little bit thrilled, like a little bit like, I got a present. So this is a major perk, I guess, of doing YouTube. But like I said, I say no to everything except for one other place. But now I have said yes to them too. So anyway, you know, if I really believe in it, I'll say yes and I'll talk about it. But okay, I'm pulling it out. Okay, right away, I gotta say, I'm happy about this. And I just realized they have my address on this paper. I hope I didn't just flash my address to everybody. I have to check that out in the editing. There might be a giant sticker show up on the screen all of a sudden, like covering everything, which is the way that I hide information occasionally in videos. I just add a sticker because I don't have any, you know, fancy ways of doing it. But yeah, so if that shows up, that's what that was. I was hiding my address, but hopefully it wasn't even an issue. Oh yeah, the other thing that I loved about the company is that the vast majority of their seeds are sourced in the US. And so I think that that's great too. I love supporting an American company that sells American goods. Now it's funny because like I am the vegan prepper, so I think a lot of times people expect me to not be patriotic because they typecast me with what they think they know about vegans, but I'm very I'm patriotic. I don't know. Maybe my septum ring too. People don't think so, but I am. I love my country. I love the whole world. I love a lot of places, but I do love my country. So I love American companies that sell American things. And so that was another thing that really appealed to me about the survival garden seeds. Okay. So immediate impression, happiness is overwhelming me that the whole pack is in a Mylar bag. So I think that that's excellent. Yeah, for long-term storage, moisture and temperature are the important factors. Keep the bag closed to keep moisture out and store in a cool, dry location. I'm assuming, or this might not be Mylar. We'll find out. I'm going to open this up. But basically it's sent in a sealed container, which is theoretically ready to be stored away kind of long-term. And so, yeah, you can have seed access in case you need it in the future. And so this particular variety, like I said, is the Home Garden 30 heirloom seed packet. Garden in a bag. This collection contains 30 varieties to grow a bountiful harvest this season, or if needed in a survival situation. Okay, here we go. If stored properly, seeds will remain viable for 3 to 8 years. This reusable package can be saved to store seeds from future harvests. Oh, nice. So I guess, yes, there's a Ziploc here. I like cutting down on the waste, that's for sure. Just follow the seed saving directions on the packets. That was another thing that I found on the website. And then, pardon me while I come over here and look. It mentions, and I guess we'll see as soon as I open this up, individual seed packets have been designed with survival preparedness in mind. I'm reading this from the website. Each packet has basic growing and seed saving information on the back. No internet connection needed. So pretty cool. I like that. Having everything like right there, fantastic. So like I said, they're all heirloom, open pollinated, and non-GMO. So let's go ahead and crack this sucker open and see exactly what's inside. Now, of course, you could just, like, if you don't feel like watching anymore, I'm terrible. Other people are like trying to get you to watch. I always feel bad because I know that I tend to go on. And so I'm from Texas. I'm from the South. I have begun to realize I think this might be almost a cultural thing for me, and it's not like some deficiency in my character. But basically, I just, I always am like feeling bad for people. Like, okay, you can get out of this anytime. Just go to the website and you can read what is in. I'm like, go to the website. You like click on your own device. You can't go to the website on my computer, but you can read about what is in the home garden pack. There's 30 varieties and you can see exactly what's in there. You don't have to keep watching the video, although I would appreciate, of course, if you'd use links and stuff down below. So anyway, let's go ahead and just open this right up. If you'd like to see it visually and hang out with me for longer, I appreciate that. And I'm very glad that you're here. Okay, so I have popped this open. And this is what we've got. It does appear to be a Mylar bag. So I like it. Very nice. And so let's go ahead and pop some of these guys out here. It looks like they're kind of in rubber banded. Sorry, I have my first thing I have to tell you guys. They're in rubber banded packets. No, I distracted myself. I love vegetables. All vegetables are wonderful, except arugula. It's like, we're just gonna take this one out and chuck it directly into the trash can. No, I'm kidding, we won't. Obviously, it's great. So maybe that is potentially, because I'm apparently so good at selling things, my channel and this pack, it is potentially a downside if you buy a predetermined pack that you may end up with seeds that you don't care about or that you would not have purchased yourself. I'm definitely not going to chuck this into the trash can. I will find somebody who wants to grow it, somebody who likes it, and I'll probably gift this to a friend. For me personally, arugula tastes like the aftertaste of vomit. And I'm not trying to be dramatic. That is just literally the taste that I get in my mouth. And I almost wonder if it's similar to the cilantro thing, where some people eat cilantro and it tastes like soap. I genuinely cannot stand it. Adam says he loves it. Like he's fine with it. He honestly doesn't think it really tastes like anything. Other people describe it as peppery. There's a ton of people out there for whom arugula is like their favorite green. And I cannot do it at all. It's like I just can't. So it's kind of funny. This is literally like the only vegetable on earth that I absolutely will not eat, cannot have ever. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, potential downside if you end up with seeds that you don't care for. But like I said, I'll just give it to somebody. I'm sure somebody out there is, you know, misinformed and they will like arugula. So anyway, let's get right into the rest of the varieties before this gets any longer. Basil, fantastic. Gotta love some basil. Basil is a fantastic thing. I should not talk about these. Maybe it should be a separate video where I talk about them. But this is a great thing to grow for so many reasons. Pestos, all of that, all the many things that you can do with basils. It's also a great companion plant. It is repellent to certain insects. The thing that I love to have basil for in my garden, weirdly enough, is as an on-demand herbal remedy for ant bites. This is literally the best thing on earth to put on an ant bite. So if you have not so much dry, but the fresh basil, if you're out there weeding and you pull something and the ants come out and they destroy your foot or whatever, and you have some basil growing, go over, make yourself like an on-demand instant poultice, where basically take a leaf of basil off the plant, chew it up until it's kind of like a paste, and then take the green sludge from your mouth. I know it probably sounds gross, but believe me, it's amazing. Put it wherever you got ant bites, and you may need to reapply like once, but it will take care of those ant bites like that. So it's also good for other bugs, but I seem to notice that it does the best for ant bites. So basil is insanely good to have on hand, especially if you deal with ants. And the kind of awesome thing about it is that it grows, right? It tends to grow when the ants tend to be out, right? During warm months. And so yeah, it's just kind of great how somebody knew that we would need basil when ants were out biting. So anyway, also some broccoli, great. Cold weather plant, cannot get anywhere near this right now. It will just bolt. So carrots, the Imperator. Now I'm like, ooh, what is that? It's a long, uniformly tapered carrot. Okay, I am absolutely going to try that as soon as I am able to plant carrots. Oh, and little fingers, these are kind of cute. Cucumbers and cilantro. Another, oddly enough, this is a cool weather plant. People like to try to grow it in summer and then wonder why it bolts all the time. But this is more of a spring, more of a fall plant, weirdly enough. It does not like high heat. So anyway, cilantro is also really great to have. You can hear that. It's relatively large seeds. So here in the US, we call this cilantro, and the seed of this plant we call coriander. So this is potentially like two plants in one. You plant it, you can chop it off, like every time it grows back, chop it. Don't pull it, chop it. It'll grow back a few times. After it's grown back too many times, it kind of it gets too hot, it'll get stressed and it'll bolt, and it'll make these big dramatic towers with flowers, and then eventually it will turn into coriander seed, and you just can pull that right off, and it's like you get two plants in one, because the seed, not only is it good to plant, but it's good as a spice. And so yeah, it's fantastic. I love having cilantro. But of course, there's probably somebody out there who has a cilantro thing, like I have an arugula thing, and you might not care about cilantro, but maybe you would like to grow it just for the coriander. So anyway, that's really cool. And so the next pack I have is beets. That's funny. I've never seen that variety. Cylindra, they grow long cylindrical roots. They can save a lot of space. Huh. Okay, cool. It says it's from Denmark, and it has sweet greens. Very neat. I'm gonna try that for sure. That sounds amazing. I like that. Yeah, I like the space savings. That has been one of my big, like my beefs with growing beets before, is like how much space it takes up and you don't get much. So I'm definitely gonna try that. A nice lettuce. It's a romaine style lettuce. Another lettuce. Oh my gosh, that's really pretty. This kind of red one. Parsley, fantastic thing to have just in general. We love parsley. Oh yeah. I did my nails at some point, right? Because I don't know, every now and then I think I should have nails, but I've already lost 2 of them because I'm me and I live my life, and so I'm not going to do my nails ever again. But anyway, so yeah, flat leaf parsley, great thing to have on hand. Lacinato kale. Okay, if you guys have seen, let me know in the comments down below if you have seen some of my kale plants. I can grow me some kale, and I have to say, without a doubt, lacinato kale or dinosaur kale is one of my, no, it's not one, it is my absolute favorite kale to grow on this earth, because it ends up, when you grow it, you need to wait for the leaves to get very large before you start picking. What I have seen is if you start picking the leaves when they're smaller, it's still great. This variety will grow very tall. It'll grow to be like 3 feet tall. I've actually had some grow to be like 6 feet tall. These are amazing. They talk about saving space because they grow up so well. You end up saving a lot of space in your garden because as they grow up and you're picking your leaves and they're growing up, and they're not taking up any space, you can plant other stuff underneath them and you still end up with this gorgeous canopy of kale. And so this is a fantastic variety of kale to grow. But if you begin to pick the leaves when they're more like this, you know, it's fine, but the stalk of kale will begin to grow. You'll still get like a 3 foot tall kale plant, but the leaves will only ever be that big, if that makes sense. So you wait until the plant is very well established, you get super large leaves, and then as you pick those leaves, it continues to grow up and it will be continuing to grow leaves that large, saving you tons of space. And these are biennials if they survive a season, meaning they tend to set seed once every 2 years, and if they survive for the second year, then they just kind of keep getting bigger and bigger. They'll actually send branches off and you'll get multiple branches of kale, and it's fantastic. I love this variety. It feels like this is like huge amount of bang for your buck. Each one of these seeds potentially is growing into a giant tower with multiple branches of kale. So fantastic, my favorite. Okay, cabbage, amazing. Golden Acre, I have tried growing cabbage a few times and I've had some success. This is one of those, I'm not 100% sure it's worth the space, but hey, we're gonna give it a try again. So there's some cabbage and pumpkin. Oh, like little ones. I might actually be able to grow these right now. I'm gonna check into it and see. I'm gonna put that in my little pile of stuff that I might be able to grow right now. Because I live in central Arizona and we are so it's the first day of spring today. And so we are heading into our hot weather. Other people get excited about spring because it's the end of winter, and I'm the opposite. I am very sad when spring starts because I know that we're heading into summer. And that's when I actually have the smallest amount of things that I can grow in my garden, because my heat here in Phoenix is so intense that I can't really grow as much as other people at this time of year. But there are a few things that I can plant right now, and I'm definitely going to point out for anybody else who lives in a super hot, dry environment. But most of these things that I'm sort of setting aside for growing, I'm not going to be planting until more like August, September. But some of them I can plant now, and I am, we're going to talk about that too. All right, the next package is radishes. These are fantastic to grow from what I have seen. I haven't tried it yet, but because they're so little and because they grow so fast, that apparently these are great to grow kind of almost as an in-between crop, or like you grow it, you can plant it closely in with other crops, and then this is ready by the time the other plants, they're not too big. By the time this is ready, then you can pull that and then give your other crops space. So this is a great intercropping plant. And so I'm really excited to try growing with this because I've seen that several times on other channels and I've wanted to try it. Butternut squash. We love butternut squash. Oh, Swiss chard. Oh, rainbow Swiss chard. I'm excited about that one. We're going to grow that. I also grow giant, amazing Swiss chard plants. So I can't wait to grow that. Sorry, this is real. I haven't seen this yet. Heirloom rainbow mix. Where were you a few months ago? Tomatoes. I have to actually plant my tomato plants. I have to start my season January. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I have a really weird gardening window compared to other people. And it's like indoors. I have to start tomatoes indoors from seed in January if I want to have viable plants that give me a harvest before it gets too hot for them to produce. But then if they survive summer, I get a second harvest in the fall. So there's pluses, but yeah, I won't be able to plant these until about January, but I'm excited to see those. They're gonna come up next year. Be patient. Okay, tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, same thing. Excited about that. Turnips. Okay, I haven't ever even considered growing turnips, but we're gonna look into that. See, watermelon. Okay, watermelon is one of them. If you live in a place where you've begun to struggle with higher temperatures and it's been hotter and drier than normal, watermelon is one of those that I have grown like every summer I've lived here. I remember one summer in particular, we got up to 122 degrees. And I tell you what, we were going outside in the hottest part of the day with buckets of ice. We were putting ice on the soil around certain plants just to cool it down. Because honestly, a lot of times with gardening in extreme heat, as long as you can keep the roots cool within reason, certain things are just not going to grow well in the heat. But if you can keep the roots of a plant cool, the rest of the entire plant will be okay. It's like the roots are where you really need to focus a lot of your efforts. Though we were spraying some cool water on the plants themselves this extremely hot day. I still remember Adam and I were outside taking care of all these plants. And what was funny was like virtually every single thing in the garden was just kind of like sad because it was hot. The watermelon was just like, oh, like loving life, you know, over there being the annoying one, like singing some happy song while all the other people were like, you know. So watermelon loves the heat. It takes the heat well. Cantaloupe is the same way. So this is a great one to have on hand, especially for hotter, drier summers than you expect. But yeah, that's going to go into my little pile with the pumpkins as things I might be able to plant right now. Zucchini. It's already too late to plant zucchini. Isn't that crazy? So it's March. And so it's like late March. Like I said, first day of spring, it's already a little too late to start zucchini seeds, but for next year, absolutely. And we might actually be able to grow that like in August. I have to check and see. I have a planting guide that I use for here. Okay, my last pile, wildflowers. Very cool. Probably will sow those in like fall, probably. Oh, eggplants. This is one I can plant now. Eggplants also do very well in super hot, dry summers. So I'm going to absolutely do that. Melon, hearts of gold. That looks like a cantaloupe. I will have to research that, but if this is kind of like a cantaloupe, I will be planting that right now for our super hot summers. Okra, another one. I can plant this right now. Okra is fantastic. From what I have seen, I've only grown it once. And it was extremely successful here, but from what I've seen too, okra forms a really deep tap root. I should do some research, but I don't think that this is one that's really easy to move. This is probably better to plant where you want it to go. Or if you're planting it in seed trays, just be very careful when you're moving it not to damage the roots, because okra can get huge. My okra got to be like 6-7 feet tall. It was huge. And it produced so much okra. I didn't know what to do with it, but I'm planting it again this year, and I can plant this right now, so I'm excited to do that. But I'm definitely going to plant it in place and not move it, because I think it just sort of likes to be planted where it wants to go. I have a long enough season that I can do that. I know for some people they don't have summers that are as long and hot as mine, and so you might need to do different steps. But yeah, peppers. It's already too late to plant peppers. Like, isn't that crazy? Like these are the kinds of things I think that most people are thinking of planting for summer, but for me it's already too late. However, yeah, for real, I'm excited. Oh, jalapenos. I don't know if you guys are, any of you who have watched any length of time, if you remember my giant jalapeno bushes that I had for like 3 or 4 years until they died after I trimmed them too much. So anyway, I'm excited to plant some new ones. I will try this. I'm pretty sure that I can still plant hot peppers from seed. I will have to look into that, but I'm going to put that into my maybe for now pile. Dill is another great one to plant. I have had this in the garden before and I have loved it. So yes, fantastic thing to have. And spinach, weirdly enough, even though I consider myself the green queen, in fact, My screen name on most of my games, like, because I'm a gamer as well, on Steam, and on some other things, my name is Winter Green Queen, because that's when I grow all of my greens, is in the winter, because I live here. But weirdly enough, as much as of a green queen as I consider myself, spinach is one I've never really been able to do. So I'm eager to give this another shot. We're gonna see if I can manage to grow some spinach in the fall. But for now, I think my right now pile is pumpkin, jalapeno, okra, melons, eggplants, and watermelon, and we are going to see how those do. So probably pretty soon be looking for some planting videos with those. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that look at the seed pack. Just in general, I think that learning to garden is good. I totally agree with that. However, I do definitely believe that if you haven't focused at all on any kind of food storage yet, that's a really great place to start. Actually, it's the best place to start. The garden will give you nutrients. It will give you, some things will be high calorie, right? Like potatoes or whatever. But even if you're growing high calorie foods, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to grow enough to meet the caloric needs of your family. The garden is where you begin to meet more of those nutritional needs, right? You get the phytochemicals, the antioxidants, the amazing things that come with plants, disease-fighting properties, all that amazing stuff that God made directly for our bodies to be most beneficial. We were originally made to eat and live in a garden, and this is obviously the stuff that's best for us. And so I think gardening is super important as far as the nutritional profile of your food needs, your survival plans, your prepping plans. But if you haven't started, I definitely still recommend that you start with some kind of food storage. I think self-sufficiency is great. Self-sufficiency, I don't honestly think that exists. This got so long, so I don't want to talk too long about it, but my very quick, kind of the Cliff's Notes version of my thoughts on self-sufficiency is that it's not realistic and it doesn't exist. Even if you are focusing on gardening, a lot of times you're dependent upon soil that you buy from another source or whatever. If you're homesteading, if you're growing, like I have seen people actually criticize, like they think that, for instance, like I dream of having a homestead and having a property where I'm growing and being a bit more self-sufficient. Again, I don't really think that actually exists. It's more about, we aim for community sufficiency, right? Sufficiency in a group of people, everybody kind of does their expertise and shares amongst each other. The person who's producing the soil or the compost or whatever is supplying the gardeners, who then maybe supply food back to that person. And it's just like, it's more of a system where we exist in more of a symbiotic relationship with each other, which I think is more normal, more natural, more human. I think we are meant to exist, coexist peacefully in groups. We mostly don't play well with others, but that was the original idea, right? So I don't think that self-sufficiency itself really exists. I did watch a video, it was really interesting. A homesteader who focused absolutely not at all on gardening. Like, they don't have any of their own veggies grown. They focused all of their energy on livestock. Now, granted, being a vegan, obviously, that is not where I would be. But people who would say I couldn't be self-sufficient as a vegan, I agree. But you can't be self-sufficient as a meat eater either, is my opinion. They said they were super proud. They're self-sufficient growing all of their own meat. 100% of the meat that they eat in a year comes from their own property. But they're not self-sufficient, because they said when they're looking at self-sufficiency, how much of the food that they eat, how much of that do they grow? They said in the beginning of the video, the caveat was, we're not counting animal feed. And I was like, as soon as they said that, I was like, ah. So it's like, just because you have it on your property, you're dependent upon buying feed from somewhere. To me, I'm like, just buy the wheat, buy the corn, and save it and eat it yourself and then grow your veggies. And so that's kind of my plan when I eventually become more self-sufficient. I know I probably won't have enough land to have wheat and things like that, but to be able to purchase some of those staple crops, some of those staple foods like beans and wheat and corn, your grains, your rice, whatever, but then to be able to grow 100% of my own vegetables and fruit, that's the dream, right? That would be amazing. And so I'm definitely not anywhere close to there, but it's something that is great to think about, that I don't think that self-sufficiency really exists. I don't think it's practical. I don't think that it's realistic. But anything that you can do to supplement your food, to give yourself something that is yours, that you grew, it gives you so much more than just the food, right? It gives you time outside and exercise. You're in contact with the soil, with the microbes that are lessening your depression, that are going into your gut and giving you healthy gut bacteria through the soil that you grow your food in. It's just an amazing thing to be out in a garden. Like I said, we were made to live in and eat from a garden. There are so many benefits here. But yes, to be able to produce your own food, especially if you start now and you know how to do it, so that if in the future you ever have to do it, you're not starting from scratch. So yeah, this is great. Focus first on storing actual calories for your family, and then definitely next work on getting those gardening skills down. So we're gonna be talking a lot more about that on the channel, I think, moving forward, but hopefully you enjoyed that little seed unboxing. I'm very eager to start these seeds, look into it. I'm excited. Like I said, it comes packed in a Mylar bag, and that's just fantastic. Like, it's already done for you, these varieties of seeds, and extremely reasonably priced for what you're getting, for sure. So definitely check out Survival Garden Seeds, and just give me your thoughts in the comments, anything that you think about any of that, anything you'd like to add to the conversation, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit more later. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. See you guys in the next one. Bye. It's the first day of spring, and I live here. Gross. No one likes spring. I know everybody else likes spring. I hate spring. I hate the fact that we are getting ready to slide right into summer. Oh my gosh. So gross. I'm not going to talk about stupid spring.